So I finally had a chance to get a proper sleep, and we're back at it with the Tombs of Amascut once again. Now, partly because I woke up really early, and also I'm just not that good at PvM, I did not get a successful completion of raids in normal mode on day 1. We completed quite a few entry mode raids, but no luck so far on a normal completion. So first and foremost, my goal for today is to try to learn the raid better so we can move up to difficulty. Okay, so we're starting out today with a entry level raid. We're gonna go in with 50 raid points, which should give us a chance of getting the Osmond's Fang. Now I'm pretty sure we're able to do this pretty easily, but we've never actually tried a duo, and it's hard to know how the scaling works. Is it substantially harder in a duo versus 4 or 5 people, or is duo and even solo just as hard or just as easy? Well, it turns out the scaling is pretty favorable, and it's not substantially harder to do this in a duo versus 4 people. And we're able to complete the raid in about 42 minutes. Not great, but that's going to improve. Now, one of the most important things that will lead to successful completions is how you set up the invocations. Now, obviously, once you get proficient enough at the Tombs of Amascut, you can probably put on most of these. And although difficulty is kind of subjective, some of them definitely seem a lot worse than others. For example, all of the invocations for Zebak, the crocodile, really don't impact the fight too much, and the difficulty doesn't ramp up that much. That said, buffing up Akka can make the fight much harder, so you have to be careful which ones you put on. So we're going in with a raid level of 150 now, which is enough for a normal raid completion, and we're mostly buffing up Zebak the crocodile, Kefri the bug lord thing, and Baba the monkey. Now, the order that you kill these bosses in actually does kind of matter, and that's because you get essentially overload potions after your second boss kill. So it does actually make sense to save the harder bosses for last, because you'll have much stronger combat stats, making the whole fight easier. Now that said, we actually are starting with Akka, which I believe is one of the hardest boss fights, at least for me, and we're doing that mainly just to get some practice. Yeah, so if you're in the wrong quadrant in this fight, you kind of just die. So this run was actually looking pretty decent. We were on to Kefri, only one boss after this, the final boss. Things were actually looking kind of good, but then we just got completely boxed in by Kefri's poop attack, and eventually we got overwhelmed, which was incredibly frustrating, but hey, you know, it's a bit of progress, and we're doing it in a duo. So now we're actually trying a solo. We bumped the raid level back down to 50 just so I can practice again, and yeah, we need some practice. Now I think solo is actually one of the best ways to learn, because there's nobody doing any of the mechanics for you. You literally will just die immediately if you don't do it right, which, although can be kind of frustrating, will make you learn things really quickly, because you have to, or else you can't progress in some parts, or you'll just die very quickly in others. So we made it to the warden fight no problem, but for some reason I just couldn't figure out something as simple as the order that the warden attacks in. It's a set rotation. They just go left, right, center, and then it resets whenever something happens. It's really simple, but just did not figure out when we're doing it in the duos. But we eventually ran it back, and we finally got our first raid completion on our own at 50 raid level. Not that impressive, but hey, it's a start. No purple, but we actually got a collection log slot for this, the Cache of Runes, and a Blood Essence. Some of the normal loot is actually quite good. Now I'm assuming there's just runes in here. Yeah, 1300 soul runes, so that normal loot was about 400k. Now, although I have one solo on entry mode done, I thought it'd be a good idea to go back and do a few more, because yeah, I did it once, but I still have a lot of practice on many of the mechanics, and I feel like jumping up to difficulty too quickly will just make it frustrating, and Jagex put all this work into this invocation system, might as well take advantage of it. Okay, so there we go. I think that's gonna be a personal best by like 10 minutes or something. A new personal best of 45 minutes. It's important to try to get this done quickly, because there are some invocations that put a time limit on the raid. If you can complete it under 40 minutes, that's good. Under 35 minutes and even under 30 minutes will increase or decrease your raid level. So after a couple more tries, I was able to get my entry mode time down to about 35 minutes, which is already vastly improved. Wow, it's actually pretty good. I'm gonna say the normal loot here seems better than Chambers. Like, this one was worth 400k. Oh my god, this just topped the last one. An elite clue scroll and 550k worth of loot. Really good for normal loot. It's actually not that disappointing finishing the raid, because you don't even use that many supplies to do it. Okay, so I think we're finally practiced enough. We're gonna throw on some invocations here and try to do a normal level raid. Oh no, this raid was going so well once again, but Kefri is gonna fuck us over and I don't think there's anything I can do about it. I made a mistake when I was putting the invocations on. I accidentally left the medic invocation on, and I think this is one you don't want on, especially in the solo. Kefri will continuously have Scarab's healer throughout the fight, and I literally cannot out DPS it. I think we're just screwed. I think we have to wipe the entire raid and start again. Oh, we finally done it. We made it to the Wardens. This is the first time I've ever made it here on my own. Now, one thing I figured out kind of recently is you definitely want to block these energy orbs from one direction. Now, what that does is it actually offsets this disco light special attack. Otherwise, you get both of them at once, and I don't think there's any way to dodge it, and you take a ton of damage. So that's definitely the way to go. Oh, I was on the final phase. The Warden was down to 200 HP. Oh, man. I went back and did it again, and somehow my clip corrupted. I did a solo, guys, and I'm not even messing with you. I literally have the completion here. I just don't have the footage. We were so close last time. We just cleaned a couple things up, and we're able to finish it. It took me 45 minutes, but we did it. Okay, so we're hopping into some more duos. I would say it might be a little bit easier, but also I might just be more practiced, but we pretty handily got this completion done. We have the Invocation Walkford on, so we definitely had to finish it in 40 minutes, otherwise we'd lose raid level, but we were able to do it. And no purple, but look at that 2 blood essence. Literally my normal loot was worth almost 800k. Oh, that was definitely our quickest raid so far. I think we just squeaked under 35 minutes, yeah. So if we can consistently do that, then we can actually bump up to jog for it, which will give us a little more raid level. Oh my god, there we go already. The Thread of Validness. Not a purple unique, but just in the normal chest. The Thread of Validness is actually what I was looking for the most. And 500k in loot, oh my god, that's so good. So the Thread of Validness is an untradeable item, and what it does is it actually augments your rune pouch. So it will actually have the room to hold 4 runes now, which is a huge improvement. Also, it's super useful for the raid itself, because now you're able to bring Blood Barrage and Ice Barrage in one inventory slot. So it just gives me 1 extra inventory slot, which is very useful. Oh man, I'm so lucky. Mazery Chaps on my 5th ever normal mode raid. Man, we were just about to go to bed too, and we decided to do 1 more raid. And for probably one of the most expensive items right now as well. Obviously the Shadow of Tumekin would have been the best, still over max cash tag I think, but the Mazery Chaps are like 2nd best pretty much. That's actually a massive split for a duo, and I can't believe we actually got something. So what I'm actually going to do here is we're going to dismantle my Armadillo chain skirt. You can do this now with a chisel, and that will turn them into armadillion components. Armadillo components, I don't know what they're called. And what we're actually going to do is upgrade the Mazery Chaps into the Mazery Chaps F. We're doing this simply just to sell it. It looks like they're worth 60 mil more just by upgrading them, and the Armadillo chain skirt was only worth 30 mil, so we just gained 30 mil doing that, I'm pretty sure. We're going to drop these in here for 650 mil. And they insta-sold. Maybe we could have waited a bit longer, but you know, things drop really quickly. Probably just better to get our money and run. Ah, it looks so good in the GE. So that is a 310 mil split. Oh, that was so much fun. I had so much fun raiding today. It was just, everything was less stressful because the mechanics I understood more. We got 2 drops, the Thread of Validness, which is super helpful, and an actual purple, which is so lucky, but just motivated me to do so many more raids. I really like the fact that there are more common items that you can get that are untradeable, that are useful. It just kind of gives you little cookie crumbs to keep doing more raids. Even on entry mode, you still could expect to get these pretty quickly. Honestly, the Tombs of Amascut has been such a success in my eyes, so fun. Maybe I'm just saying that because I got super lucky, but whatever. It's time to do some more and hopefully make some more money. Now, before I go here, I want to give a giant thank you to all of my members over on YouTube. Thank you so much to March3258 and Pewter, who just joined the Dragon tier, joining the Hybrid, Alejandra, and Kush Patel. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Also, thank you to YoYoSub89, Carter, Mexos, and NDM001 for subscribing at the Runite tier. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.